Warning, the following podcast is intended for immature dads only. Listener discretion is advised. This is Dad's Game Review, the most casual hardcore gamers around. Reviews and news from every platform. We waste our time so you don't have to.
Welcome to another episode of Dad's Game Review. This is Paul Squalacci, and I am joined by a man who loves his cats and dogs.
I do. That's very kind. I really do put effort into loving my cats and dogs. They are my favorite. I don't have any kids, so what am I supposed to do? I got to put all my love somewhere. So I love my cats and my dogs.
Dad's Game Review. We got to put in some type of dad in there somewhere.
I am a fur daddy. God, that sounds creepy. I'm sure that's used in furry circles or something like that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know about fur daddy. That don't sound right whatsoever. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm hanging out here. I had some news for you, which I announced to you via text, to which you obsessively went back and forth with me on, was that according to FeedSpot, we are number 2 in the top 25 most listened to podcasts in the UK.
I think that's kind of crazy because I really didn't think anybody
kind of
was...
like, yeah, you were just kind of like, you were just kind of like.
I mean, it just took me back because I've never asked you about the numbers of how many people listen to us. I figure I don't want to know that because I just fixate on it because I'm always doing like social media promotion and stuff. So
right.
I'd worry too much about numbers. So I really didn't care. And so he mentioned before that he had been ranked like 8th in the UK back when John was doing stuff with him and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. So yeah, FeedSpot put us as number 2. Apparently we have a 4.9 on Apple Podcasts, which I didn't even know we had an account there. This man's not telling me what's going on. So
see,
I
when
can start promoting.
When I told you this was a hobby, I meant it in the fullest form. This was a hobby.
That's why I'm going to do all the promotion and stuff. We'll figure this out. We'll get all that figured out. But I think that's awesome. So like, yeah, people actually listen to us.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who listens in the UK. That is amazing. I
have a lot of UK friends in my streams and stuff like that hang out. We're on totally different 8-hour time zone difference, but like, I have people that stay up late just to hang out with me on stream, and I totally love that for my UK friends and stuff. That's great.
That's where we get the fan base from.
Oh, that's
UK
it. Yeah.
Following.
Right. Well, how'd your week go?
Oh, it went pretty good. I mean, the past couple of weeks, I haven't been really doing pretty much of anything, just except for cleaning the house. Like. What happens is that I'm in school during the week. So I'm in school to become a therapist. So during the week, I'm just constantly like just either doing schoolwork or I'm tending to the kids. And if the kids are not needing anything, I'm doing schoolwork. And then when it comes to my 2 days off during the week, I'm cleaning the house. So it's not like there's not pretty much room for anything exciting to happen outside of that. I mean, it's just a pretty sad, just a sad existence,
I'm on the other hand, I'm go. I'm always doing something. I've got, I'm 40 hours at work, but then I'm hitting the gym. I'm working on social media. I'm creating videos. I'm streaming like crazy. Like but this last week, I don't know. I was just kind of
you're back at the gym, huh?
No, I actually that's the whole thing. I was going to say, I took this week off everything. Like I was having some mental stress this last weekend. I entered myself in a streamer competition for content creation, and I just miserably failed and just was feeling really down on myself. I just kind of gave up. I didn't fail. I gave up. And I was feeling down on myself. So, I took the week off of everything.
What a piece of shit you were. You
could have reminded me. What am I thinking going into something like I'm going to accomplish something good? Jesus. Right, I feel old. Dad's Game Review. Dad, I'm feeling old with the tech stuff. I'm having trouble with editing and stuff and learning new things. And I swore I'd never be like my father when I was trying to teach him how to use a PC. But God damn it. I'm having trouble learning editing. Anyway, so I was hard on myself. I was going to take the whole week off of streaming, and I did. I didn't stream until tonight, and I took the whole week off of working out and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of tried to reset my brain, And I'm feeling a little better. Got back on stream tonight, and feeling good again.
Here's the thing: when you try to reset yourself, I'm afraid. To be honest with you, when I'm afraid because when I try to reset myself, if I sit back and I go, I'm going to reset myself, I end up like 5 days later, still on the couch. Like I can't
give up on all your routines, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't. I'm just like, bleh. All right, this is it. You know?
I get scared to break my routines too because I'm a driven person as long as I maintain that same routine daily, and it's just like if I get
Right.
out of my habits, then I kind of give up. And I took it easy on myself, and I'm gonna go ahead and get back into things. I feel like I'm renewed a little bit with a little more motivation. Plus, I'm excited about this whole #2 on the podcast. So we're gonna promote the hell out of this. And what are we talking about this week, buddy?
So this week we are talking about the Last Days of Lazarus.
What the heck is that?
So I looked it up on Wikipedia, and somebody has actually had their way with Wikipedia. I know you're going to have to sit down and use your mind's eye on that one for a second. But somebody had their way with Wikipedia and wrote, The Last Days of Lazarus is a quote-unquote fun indie, almost horror game with a lot of puzzle over. The game is well designed, taking much inspiration. So apparently nobody wrote anything on Wikipedia. So Wikipedia has taken something from Metacritic.
Oh, well, then you have no information to read.
The game it's everything that we're going to say the opposite of. The game is well designed, taking much inspiration from the developers' Romanian roots. And the only thing I will agree on, the voice acting leaves something to be desired. But the game is an explanation.
This is a Romanian game. I thought it looked really cool. It has, if you see the cover art of the game, it makes you go, "What the fuck?"
I'm actually upset that I spent $5.99 on this game.
Well, okay, and I'm in the opposite boat. So let me just tell you, the developers are Darkania and Grimtalin. They're from Romania, and this game is set in Romania. And I just thought we'd try something that looked a little out there. So yeah,
heavy on the religion.
Let's just introduce the game here. So it starts out that you are Lazarus. That's the character that you play as, and you have your sister. And I'm bad with her name. It's Ludmilla, I believe it is.
Yeah,
how it's pronounced. And she gives you a call that your mother had committed suicide, and you need to come home and investigate what happened with this, and you're gonna delve into your family's past and find out all these dark secrets about your family's past.
But here it goes. Here it goes into my douchebag meter. Ready? Does he go home?
Oh no.
No, he does not go home, Josh. He does not fucking go home. His sister pleads with him to come home. I need you. I found our mother hanging in the closet, dead. I need you to come home. I can't, Elena. I need to go join the monastery.
And this is what he blew up last week about with the whole thing, he was talking about Firewatch, about how Firewatch, the character was a bad person for not going home to his wife who had cancer or whatever. So now he's blowing up on his part. And it's true.
Don't our characters have morals? Why aren't they human?
You'd think if your sister called and said, "Mom's dead, come home," you'd be like, "I'm getting in the car now." Right. But he doesn't. He comes home, and what does he find?
He finds aliens. First of all, he finds some hot woman who lives in his apartment.
Her name's Laura. Laura.
Whatever.
We got to keep this straight. So there's a certain characters. There's Ludmilla, that's his sister. There's Laura, who I'm never really. I know who she is later on in the game, but in the beginning, is she a reporter or something? Like, who is she?
I have no idea who she is. It's not really revealed. She's just somebody that hangs out in your apartment.
And then you have the priest who just stands in the corner of the living room. Everything is static. These backgrounds are all pretty much static. They don't move. You just interact with them. And the priest just stands in the living room with a candelabra, and he talks to him. And you just interact with these static characters. That's your favorite
stuff, like Myst, right? Just like Myst. Static backgrounds.
And so you come home and let me see here. I took notes because we gotta try and follow the train of thought on this game. It is out there. So in Romania a dictator has taken over. This is like a hostile takeover of the government. He went ahead and raised the minimum wage for 70% on all the lowly workers and stuff. So they're happy with him, but he's currently taking over the entire country, and nobody can come or leave, and it's becoming a hostile dictatorship. How weird! What timing on this? And it's turned into a police state and stuff. So and there's a General Zotov is coming through and causing destruction and taking over and everything like that. So that's all going on outside of this whole thing between a dead mother and a brother and sister.
So you come home and you're waiting around this apartment. But what's in your apartment but these really weird aliens, which doesn't tend to freak you out. including one room where the aliens are chomping on a human body. And you're just like, cool. Let me just go to another room. And in the midst of it is, what's his name? Some teenage punk kid who's just wired in. He's just glued to his machine.
This is later. Hold on. Okay, so
all right, go ahead.
You jump around all over the place. Let's focus. So monsters just show up in your house. Okay, this is where I was like referring it to like a Wish.com Silent Hill. Like this looks like you literally have straight out of the movie Alien. You have a like a demon alien punching up out of this body that's laying in the basement. You have all these. They're like claw hand creatures just all around your house, just kind of in the background. And what makes this game great, and he hates, but I also think it makes it great, is everything is delivered so monotone, just with no enthusiasm. Like your sister is dead. Your sister ends up getting murdered. Okay, and you're trying to find out what's going on. That's not a spoiler. It's just what happens. That's where we're going with this.
Right.
And these these monsters have taken over your house. And meanwhile, with Jenner Zotov, there's also these mechanical machines flying around. So nothing's really making sense here. And it's like you feel like it's trying to go for a creep factor, but it's almost laughable at the same time.
Don't forget the military sniper, who just kind of comes in 2 scenes and then disappears.
And that's why it felt like Silent Hill, because you have these just strange characters that just come into the story and out of the story, and you're like, that interaction was just off. Like it felt with Silent Hill 2 recently. Right. You're like, that was just not a normal human interaction whatsoever there.
Right.
So then there's not a lot of characters. I think there's maybe 6 total in the game or something like that. But they're just weird and it's awkward. But everything's. I don't know if anybody. Do you know the game Deadly Premonition from the 360 days?
No, I do not.
So there's this, I mean, we know horror movies, right, as being campy and like so bad it's good type of thing, right? You know what I'm talking about with the 80s campy horrors.
No, yeah.
Where it's cheesy. You call it cheesy, but it's like you're having a good time with it anyway. Well, this game Deadly Premonition was a big one for that back in the 360 days, where it was the same monotone acting, the same like what the fuck moments, like where does this come from? What is this mystery? Nothing makes sense. Nothing has any emotion or passion, and it reminded me of that, and I liked it because of that. But you,
it just took me a while. It took me a little bit getting used to. I have to admit that I was playing this high for a while. So it didn't bother me.
I didn't say no. Do that. Yeah, you should play this high. Play this.
and then I came down from that, and I was just like, "What am I playing?" I just couldn't believe I paid for this. That's what my thing was. I was just like, "What am I playing?"
Experience. Are you going to forget this game? No.
No, I guess not. I guess not.
So anyway, it has to introduce some kind of gameplay, right? So there's puzzles. Okay.
Yeah.
Puzzles.
Is this the part where I bring up there's no tutorial on how to run this game at all?
Yeah, go ahead. It doesn't tell you nothing.
Just boom, just starts into the game. Just starts right off to the game. No credits, no nothing.
It doesn't point you towards the next thing you got to do. You hope you stumble across it. But the worst thing, and this is the most criminal, is that all the stuff that you need to interact with, none of it's highlighted or flashing and you're dealing with static backgrounds, very detailed, very gorgeous, detailed static backgrounds, very busy ones that you can't see.
Gorgeous is a little bit of a stretch.
With all the religious imagery and stuff, like this stuff goes off the hook, like Catholic religious holy saints and rosaries and monasteries and gold and ornate. Yeah, it goes off. It's detailed. I thought it was pretty backgrounds. You didn't think that?
I thought it was okay. The backgrounds were cool. But it was just like, I like when I was playing this, I was like, what is this, 1996? Like, what are we going on? What's going on here? Like, just the backgrounds are just kind of like there.
It did feel kind of like a Resident Evil type of background, where's the static image in the background or whatever like that, where you just because nothing's moving at all. It's just you. You're the only thing that moves around there.
Except for the aliens.
The little alien hands. They'll do their little repeated animation or whatever like that.
Right, the sprites. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me like Fear Effect back in the PS1 days with the looping animations. Like it kind of felt like that for a couple of moments. But
that and the cutscenes. I mean, I called this the game of 1,000 cutscenes.
But that's where you get the dramatic acting. The acting, I cannot emphasize enough how bad and wonderful it is.
Did I say I didn't think it was possible for voice acting to be bad?
I swear they had to have told the guys that I want you to. It's like no reaction. He finds his sister dead in the bathtub, just like slaughtered and mutilated in the bathtub, and his reaction is like, "Oh my gosh, wow, this is a horrible thing happening." It's like there's no escalation, and there's no intonation in voice or anything like that. There's no like reaction. There's jump scares, and the guy's like, ah.
Yeah, that was it. It's just like
nothing phases this guy. You've got literally by the end of it, you've got the devil coming at you with stuff. General Zarkov is the devil taking over, and he's just like, oh no.
It's almost like when I don't know if you remember this, but used to like the Iraq War, right? It was the first war that was like really televised in real time, right? And then a helicopter or like Apache helicopter would come through, and it would just mow down a village, right? And then the only thing you would hear is clear. And that was it.
Yeah, right?
That's what it reminded me of. Clear. That's a sociopath. That's somebody.
And once you move out of the house, the apartment, and everything, that's where it's headed. You're out in war. Like things are getting bombed and just like getting destroyed. And so it progresses from there. The whole point of the rest of the story, as we've ranted on about just the intro or just the first two chapters, is your sister was trying to get away to Ukraine out of Romania, trying to escape, and she wanted to find out what happened to their father. Okay, the reason the mother died or killed herself had to do with the father leaving and leaving the kids behind and all that kind of stuff. And and so he decides to continue on his sister, who's now dead, discovery about their father to find the truth. And I can't give away what happens, but you do go to
give away that one jump scare.
What I don't know. They're really, it wasn't scary for being scary. It was unnerving. There's nothing.
There was just one scary part, and that's
what was it?
To open up the closet where your mother hung herself.
Oh yeah, right at the beginning. That was about right.
And I was like, oh, here we go, jump scare heaven. But that was it. That was the only.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of scare, but it's weird as hell. You're constantly going, what the hell? And like you're seeing all this crazy religious imagery, and you're solving these puzzles that are nonsensical. I mean, there's all these times where you have to turn levers or flick switches in a certain order, and I have no idea. Like you pulled up the same webpage I did, didn't you?
Oh yeah, probably.
We found a walkthrough that gave us actual step-by-step interactions of exactly what to do and where to look and where to go. Because
why did we pull that up?
Because I would have never known where to go on, and I would have never found this stuff that you need to pick up because it blends in with all the backgrounds. Like that was
because the controls, while they did have a small dot, a small tiny dot as the center. Small tiny dot. I found myself backtracking like every freaking scene because it was like, oh wait, I could pick that up. Oh, okay. That's what it was. I mean, so I'll give it credit for that. The backgrounds were detailed enough that they blended in with the actual.
That's just it. The only way you knew if you could pick something up was the difference between a pinpoint dot and a pinpoint circle. And that's all that changed when you move your cursor over it. So you could easily move over this very busy background and just glance right over the fact there's a golden key sitting right there on that tapestry because it blends in and it doesn't highlight until you're like right on it with the little circle. So
right.
The game would have been so much more accessible and functional if I could have just seen the things I needed to pick up and knew at least where they were by a little flash or a glint or something like that. I just kept getting stuck and had to use that guide, especially the last chapter. I had to use the guide for everything on the last chapter.
Aside from the controls moving very, very fast. I don't know if you moved, how fast you moved in yours, but it was it wasn't the guy himself moving fast. It was the actual panning. The panning when you moved your cursor.
I turned that way down. As soon as I got in, I turned that down. Sensitivity was too high because you have to find point, select these little items and stuff, and as soon as you start it, your camera is just
you're just like 90% just back and forth.
Let's turn this way the hell down. Okay, so continuing with the story here, let's see what are some of the other.
I mean, I'm just gonna go over all the things that really annoyed me. So.
Yeah, go for it. No, please.
So
here comes the nitpicky stuff.
Towards the end, I mean, I don't know if you want to wait until we get to the end of the story that I bring this up, but his sister is in the coffin, and you ask this guy who's a stranger, literally a stranger, can you help me with this coffin and bring it into the church? Have you ever been the pallbearer, Josh? You ever been the pallbearer before?
No, where are you going with
you've
this?
never been a pallbearer?
No.
It takes 6 large men to lift a coffin. Okay? You cannot lift a coffin. I don't care if you're Hulk Hogan.
You can't just
Okay?
ask your buddy to help pick it up
You
and just
need
haul it in the back of a truck for you?
5 other men. The coffin alone is at least 200 pounds.
So what? Not just you and one other buddy, huh? Oh,
No.
okay. Well,
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
pick
no,
up
no.
on that part. That didn't cross my freaking mind.
Whew. That bugged me. I mean, I'm not saying I've been to a lot of funerals, but I've been a pallbearer a couple of times. And just the whole, he was just like, hey, can you help me lift this coffin? My dead sister inside of it. And he just kind of like casually walks into the church with this coffin, one on either side. There's no way. Look, I don't consider myself a nitpicky guy, but
What do you mean you don't consider yourself a nitpicky guy? I wait for your stupid like complaints about every game we play because it's the most nonsensical stuff that I would never perceive. But you find, and no, but you're like my wife in that way. She notices things that I never noticed, and I'm like, wait, you had an issue and you noticed that in the first place? Like, what? How did that even cross your mind?
because the
No,
story
I find it
just
funny
keeps
though.
getting weirder and weirder and weirder. Like it just doesn't stop with the weirdness.
It
just
does.
keeps going on and on and on, and you're just like, what? When does this end? When does this weirdness end? Because
as you're looking for your father, you end up going to the monastery where he ran away to, and apparently he was teaching young girls. He was kidnapping young girls and teaching them dark arts and all this kind of stuff. And then it goes into a murder at that point, and it just keeps developing into just weirder and weirder stuff. And even though I can kind of make sense of the story, it just doesn't feel like coherence. There's too many random things here and there, and it does kind of come together. But I just think it was a great experience overall, though. Like, this is something I'm always going to remember playing because it was so just weird and deadpan, and like I said, so bad it's kind of good type of thing.
Like most humans, I've had a shit life, much like you, Josh. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say that.
I've had 2 kids. This is the truth. I've had 2 kids who I was told on 3 different occasions were not going to make it through the night. Okay. That's a shit life.
Yep.
And I've spent more times in hospitals and doctor's offices with my wife than I have on actual dates. I have more memories of hospital stays. Right?
Yeah.
This game, I wish I had this clear cut of a problem. Where the answer was right in front of me on every scene. Just like mystery snipers that show up, who's willing to help me. What was that scene where the guy that you're talking to who's tied up in a tent and you...
Oh, I was going to ask you what you chose on that. What did you, because I was tempted. So you stumble across this one area. This is only one thing that I noticed that was kind of interactable in the game. You come across a tent where a guy is like strapped up like torture style with rope and I wasn't sure what was happening there. And he's got something like in front of his body, like attached to him. And there's these strings everywhere. And so what did you do in that situation?
I unreleased him. But you know what? It was all for naught. Can I tell you why?
You looked up to go, hold on, don't tell me what happens. You looked up and saw to go grab the random knife out of the back of the truck and come back and cut him out. Okay, so I walked in there and I hit all the things, and the skill saw turned on and split that motherfucker right up the middle. And I jumped back and go, what? Like I could tell it was some kind of trap or something, but that was the only moment that like really got me where I was like, holy crap.
So the guy died, is what you're saying. The guy.
Yeah. Beyond dead. He's just not even. He's half and half now. Yeah.
So I grabbed the knife and I cut him out, but his fate is the same either way.
He dies either way. Okay.
Yeah, because you cut him, and then in the middle of you talking to him, just like that movie with Tom Hanks where he relives the Somali pirates taking over his boat.
Random reference.
What was the name of that movie? What was the name of that movie?
Something or other.
Captain something or whatever, right? Yeah, where snipers just blow his head off. Same exact thing. I cut him out of his roping thing. I start to talk to him. Just And then over some type of radio or something that I guess you have, which is not mentioned anywhere, this sniper friend of yours is just like, yeah, I had to kill him. You're not listening to me. You're not following my orders.
There's constantly background voices and stuff. And like the demon voice, I loved it because it literally, as I'm hearing
Who is this
demon
guy,
voice,
Josh? Who is
it's
this?
just random. It's just random voices talking to you. That's just tell yourself it's random voices. It makes more sense with the context. But the demon voice, I could
You
literally
wanted to know what it's like
picture
to be schizoaffective.
that exactly. It's just voices popping up as you're playing. I swear I could picture a dude sitting there with a voice changer in front of a microphone going like, I am the devil legion.
Yeah.
Like it just sounded so like computerized or something like that.
Because the sniper comes, kills this guy. You talk to him. I swear to God, I think there's like maybe 2 scenes where you talk to this guy. Never again.
That's why it's like Silent Hill. That's why I compared it to Silent Hill.
After he kills the guy,
random.
he's gone. He's gone. And it's like, what did that guy have anything to do with? Besides strangers helping you lift a 6-ton coffin of your sister into church.
He's getting too worked up. He needs his chamomile tea, guys. He needs his chamomile tea. These games traumatize him. He just can't take it. But I am proud of you for actually finishing a goddamn game. He finished a game, folks. 4.5-hour game. He actually finished it before me because I waited until like 4 days before we needed to do it to blow through it because it was like 4.5 hours, 5 hours top.
I finished the game.
The thing is, though, he actually used the guide the whole time, so he probably did it in 3. So we got a solid 3 out of this guy. We got a solid 3 hours out of him. And so, yeah, overall, do you want to do good, bad, and ugly? We might as well because there's a lot of bad and ugly.
I mean, it's I feel like I've done it already, but okay, we could do that.
Okay, but you haven't told me what's good. Tell me what's good. You can do this. Think of you're good. You got this.
I'm thinking.
You got this.
Staring up and to the left.
I know.
Like everybody else does.
You guys were on YouTube. You can see all our shenanigans on YouTube in case you didn't know.
The good?
The good. Here we go.
Only $5.99. That's it. That's the only good. That's the only
well, I'll have you know I paid $4.99.
Oh my God.
But here's what's going to really make you go, what the fuck? I made sure I tracked down a physical copy, which the reason I picked up this game in the first place
of course
was because it had a recent physical copy limited release. And so I went ahead and got an import copy.
Your apartment is 1,300 square feet.
No, it's not 600.
In a 3,000 square foot of house. I don't have room for that shit. Where do you find the space?
My place is 600 square feet. I don't have lights on, but one of these times I will post on. Hey, we're on Blue Sky now, you guys. Dad's Game Review. I will post on Blue Sky a video walkthrough of my gaming room in here with like
plug.
I have probably 1,000 games in this room. It's freaking ridiculous.
I can't believe it. You know.
But yeah,
I wanted to go into the depths of that at one point. Not now. But at some point, I wanted to go into the depths of your collection and why you collect. Because to me, every time I think about collecting, I go, oh, yeah, I'd really like to collect these and have these. But then it dawns on me it would be something else I need to dust. You know,
it's a mental issue. Honestly, it's part of my some of my obsessive compulsive stuff and some of my anxiety and OCD and whatever, I collect and I have since I was a little kid. It started with baseball cards and stuff, but yeah, I'll do a video walkthrough of like what I got here. It's shelves and shelves of stuff sometime, but I had to track down, it's a European copy. I'm having it imported for $28 and I got it from overseas and it's coming soon. So
I can't tell if I don't know if I'm angry that you are able to collect in such a small area, or that I
literally this whole place is like 650 square feet.
What I always wanted to do, which was collect video games. I'm
in a 12 by 12 room here that is just loaded to the brim with gaming stuff. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's a big room. 12 by 12 is pretty big.
No, that's all we got. It's our whole living room. That's about it. Everything else is this place is tiny.
I don't know. It just gets even more worse. My mind is getting blown that you have a wife that puts up with that bullshit. If I were to just say, hey, half of my living room is going to be my game room, I would be outside. I would just be outside.
We got the two
I'd be living in my car.
We got the two TV set up because I have, so basically when we're playing at night, her shows are on the right TV and my games are on the left TV, and I've got one earpiece in so I can hear part of my game while the second ear listens to the show because I'm ADHD as fuck. So I can multitask and split my brain and watch a show and a game at the same time. And that's how every night goes for me. And that's why I get through my games easier than you. Because she doesn't care. She supports the whole gaming thing. So
Oh, I mean, she does. For me, she does. She just tends to go to bed. And then I just sit there, and then I get bored. Is that what happens? So
yeah, I have so much more fun with parallel play. Like, I mean, we're both on the spectrum with things, and parallel play is kind of part of that, where you want to be doing different things but together, and so that's how we enjoy it. We're doing different things, but we're doing it together, so we still have considerate quality time. And I hope, I think that's a good thing for us. It never was like that until we moved into this new place, so it's been great.
Well, that's good. Good for you.
I never played games every day. I played for like maybe 2 hours on the Saturday. That's how my life used to be. It used to be like every other dad out there who's like, I can only get a couple hours for myself on the weekend. So it's
that's really all I do.
And now I come home and I sit down and I just play games for the next 4 hours because that's what I have to do. I don't have anything else going on, and my wife's still watching shows, so we're having a good time. I love it.
That's great.
I'm living out my childhood. I didn't get.
You're living the dream, bro. You're living the dream.
I didn't get to have this much fun as a kid, so I'm doing it now,
So that was my good. My good was that it was only $5.99. My bad, I list all my bads, was that the cursor moves too quick. It doesn't even highlight like where you're supposed to look or do. Without that guide, you're done. There's no way you would be able to make it through this game.
I agree with that. You got to have the guide.
You got to have the guide to tell you, pick up this. And you're like, oh, crap. It doesn't even highlight when you put your cursor on it.
It does. It gives you a little outline, but it's so minimal. It's like you can glance and miss it. It's bad.
The ugly was the story. The story of this game was so stupid. It was just so stupid.
His face, if you guys can see this on YouTube, it's pretty funny. He's dying inside. He's dying.
Just so
inside.
stupid. Just I can't even. If I go into it, I'm going to be drinking some more. So
he already said he had to drink just to do this podcast. So we're already a few in here for him. I don't touch the stuff.
When you drink vodka before a podcast,
vodka and video gaming, that was my life. Or whiskey and video gaming, but
it's also my favorite ska band in the 90s.
Vodka and video gaming, totally. There's those horns.
Yeah, but no, it just the story just kept going and going and going, and it just kept getting stupider and stupider. I can't even go into like how stupid it was. Like you just
okay, we get it. What's the ugly? Jesus Christ, we've heard
the ugly was the story. The ugly was the story. It was just.
Oh, that was your ugly. Okay, I thought that was just the bad. We're overlapping.
No, the bad was that the cursor moved at like a lightning speed, and that nothing really you were never able to
learn about options menus. Option menus are amazing, where you can turn down sensitivity and remap buttons and all that kind of stuff. They're fantastic.
Pish posh.
Anyway, my good. Oh, okay. My good was that it was really creative. You're not going to play anything like this. The writers were on something or doing something or came up with something or came down with something. I don't freaking know, but the writing was weird. Things didn't really make sense. Nothing really came together for like a coherent story, but I kind of liked that. It was just, I'll say it again, kind of so bad it's good. You got to play it because it's just so stupid.
Right.
And then the bad, it's the same thing. The fact that the stuff just didn't sparkle or shimmy or shine, and there's so many tiny things that you need to interact with that it just made me too pissed off. You really need a guide to play through it. The ugly, if you don't like religious imagery, and I'm not a big fan, it is everywhere. It from the beginning, because the mother, before she commits suicide, she's lost herself as a religious zealot completely. Even the priest tells her, calm the hell down, lady. You got too much God in your life. She's not listening. So it's altars. It's
Jesus
worshiping.
Himself is like, oh, geez,
there's a holy there's a holy ghost girl that is around everywhere with a little halo over her head, and you're constantly dealing with Christian imagery and all this kind of stuff. So if that bothers you, yeah, there's a lot of it. But overall, with the game, honestly, I'm glad I played it. I'm glad that I'm gonna have a little physical game in my collection of this game with my indie stuff, because it was cool. And I recommend, if you like weird, just play it. It's $5.
It's very weird. It's very weird. It's just weird.
The machines never made sense to me. The machines never fit in.
And the whole story.
It never made sense.
Especially the guy who was taking over.
No,
I
we're
guess
done. We're done. It's
the
over.
guy who was taking. Wait. The guy who was taking over the country had some type of megaphone that everybody could hear.
He was the devil. That was the devil, General Zoltov. Yeah, that's the devil.
Yeah, and he was just like blah 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 blah.
Oh, but the nice thing, did you love the ending?
Only
though?
all of Romania heard him, Josh.
The ending gives us a nice little life lesson. I think. Hold on, I think I wrote it down, and it was just the silliest. Okay, here's words to live by with the Last Days of Lazarus. Live your life and find the love and beauty in it, and don't forget, God works miracles. All right, there it is. Last Days of Lazarus.
Jack Handy.
All right, game news.
Yeah. Let me go into game news.
And now it's time for gaming news.
Thanks, Richard. So, in game news today, I'm going to talk about how the Switch 2 came out. No, wait.
It didn't come out.
It didn't come out.
Get your news right.
Nintendo was pressured into coming out with a trailer. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So much Switch news over the past 3 months has been popping up online that Nintendo was like, wait a second, we need to set the record straight. And they came out with like a garbage CGI.
Is that what you think happened?
Switch looked like? That's the only conclusion I could have come to.
Okay, he's making up his own timeline. I'm like, what? Yeah, Nintendo was so pressured. No, they had to announce it at some point. It's coming out soon, and they came out with a kind
soon.
of CGI.
They're talking about you signing up for an experience that goes into the summer, so it's obviously not coming out this year.
It's supposed to come out this year. Where are you getting your information?
I'm hypothesizing.
Oh, he's making it up as he goes. Okay.
No. But it says, get your hands-on experience. And then I looked it up. I looked up New York. I looked up Los Angeles, which is burnt to the ground, by the way.
Yeah, these are all places
I
you can interact with it, right?
I looked up all the different areas that you can get your quote-unquote hands-on experience. And they're not until April, May, June.
Yeah, so wouldn't you expect this to come out by the holidays?
Coming out. Not coming out.
Yeah, it'll be out.
November.
It'll be out by the holidays. I don't know why he's freaking out. Anyway, they had to announce something because there'd been so many leaks, so they had to come up with something to address the situation. They weren't pressured into announcing the Switch. This has been part of the
because of the leaks.
This has been all part of the plan. Yeah, maybe they had to come up with something sooner.
PlayStation 3 all over again.
Oh my god.
The PlayStation 3, right?
Anyway, what'd you think of the actual Switch itself?
Let me finish my synopsis here. The PlayStation 3 came out because the PlayStation 2 Pro had just come out. And Apple, which at the time
there's a PlayStation 2 Pro. Hold on. What's the PlayStation 2 Pro? Teach me.
Yeah. There was I'm sorry. Bad. Sorry. No. Sorry, my bad.
Remember, he was drinking.
I'm thinking of PlayStation. I'm thinking of PlayStation 4. But PlayStation 2 come out. But at the same time, Apple started introducing the iPhone, right? So Apple starts introducing the iPhone, and then every year they come out with a new iPhone. And then other electronics companies like, well, hey, why can't we do that? Once a year, once a console. So they bang out. This is why we got the Wii U. They bang out the Wii U. They bang out the PlayStation 3. Garbage.
I don't know where he's going with this.
This is the point. The point is that they were pressured. They were pressured into coming out with something. The Wii U, which I like to call the Switch prototype, was raced to market, just like the PlayStation 3 was, which was also garbage, because they were pressured. That's my point. The point is that this video came out because there were so many people leaking so much misinformation that they were like, okay, we need to set the record straight. This is what we're doing.
Well, I think this is blown way out of proportion because the Switch 2, everybody knew it was coming. They knew it wasn't. That's what I was so irritated with all these leaks. It's like, who cares? I know it's going to look just like a Switch, except a little bit different. They're not going to add anything really else to it. It looks like they released maybe an optical mouse is going to be something.
It looks like a Switch.
This video released and it really wasn't a big deal. Everybody was more like, wow, big, woo, it's a Switch, just like everybody expected.
The Joy-Cons are magnet on the side.
Yeah, magnetic Joy-Cons and optical on the mouse. Like everybody was
the
pretty much
screen's
disappointed.
Bigger.
disappointed with what they was showing because Nintendo's known for innovation and they're always behind on hardware. Their hardware's never caught up to what's currently going on
Right.
with other systems, and they don't need to be because their games are just so much fun. I'm sorry, why did I say that mockingly? Their games are just so much fun.
Because they are, Josh.
I know they're fun, but there's no substance to them. Give me something with a story, God damn it! I don't care the princess has been kidnapped for the 15th time. Jesus H Christ.
I used to
Anyway.
give John such a hard time about Nintendo. Just writing the same 4 games for the past 40 years.
It's just everything recycled. There's no, it doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I grew up with NES, but Nintendo games do nothing for me. There's no compelling story that I'm going to get invested in. It's not that they're not fun, but I don't feel like paying. And then the prices never go down. They'll drop you $20 maybe here and there, but I can get plenty of used games for PS and Xbox for way cheaper than that. Anyway, I'm not going to go on that rant. But the Switch 2 reveal was pretty underwhelming, and we basically just got to see what else there is because they got to drop some kind of innovation in this. It's just a more powerful Switch, but they're comparing it to the standard release of the PS4 when it comes to power. So that puts them around 2012, 2014 or something like that when it comes to console power.
But
so
that's fine. Nobody really looks at Nintendo and goes, it's a threat.
No, I know. It's just nothing really wowed anybody, and that was the overall consensus on social media. You've got the Nintendo fanboys that are wearing the Yoshi slippers out there screaming their heads off, but you've got everybody else like sitting around like, okay,
shirts.
and like, what more? Like, yeah, all the Pokemon people and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure they're
Well,
all pumped.
why
It'll sell.
is that such a thing? It's like, why is that such a thing? We all know, classically, Nintendo comes out with generational stuff that's like a generation behind. But we still clamor to buy this stuff.
Oh,
So
it'll
why
sell
is
like
that
crazy. And I'm
but
sure
why
I'll get
is
one
it
eventually
such a
just because it's
surprise
backwards
Why is
compatible.
it such a surprise on social media? Why is
I don't-
everybody like, what?
Everyone likes to overreact to everything. They're stupid. People are stupid. Don't you realize this? The general consensus of the population is dumb. I'm sorry. Nobody specifically that's listening to this podcast right now, you're all geniuses. But everybody else.
What is some other news? Can we go off of this topic? Because
I know. The whole Switch thing was just kind of dumb. Kind of mediocre. Well, speaking of mediocre, there was an Xbox developer direct yesterday. I slept through it. I'm just kidding.
Yep. Slept through it, he says.
Something about gay ninjas or Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden. Sorry. I got that wrong. Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was just released yesterday. It's downloadable. Looks like they're charging $50 for it on the PlayStation, which is ridiculous. But it's released on all. It's not just Xbox anymore. It's now on. All right, what's it on PS? Yeah, it was on PS before. That's right. They showed off Doom: The Dark Ages, which big surprise has demons and guns. Looks pretty cool. What else was? The 23rd was the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC. I haven't seen a lot of nude mods out there yet, but I'm sure they're coming. Just you wait, guys. Don't you worry. Tifa and Aerith soon.
Lara Croft in the nude.
No, I'm talking Final Fantasy. That's what they've been all waiting on.
Oh, can I bring you something up? You're a fan of you're a fan of that garbage game Chrono Trigger, right?
Oh, one of the most magical RPG experiences of my childhood. Yes.
Right, garbage.
Uh-huh.
So somebody said on Twitter, I was reading, they were just like, we need to abolish AI. Because obviously they had asked Chrono Trigger if Chrono Trigger was part of the Final Fantasy lore. And it said, while there were some similarities, it is not actually a part of the Final Fantasy lore. Is that actually correct?
I've never heard. I don't know. I've never gone into that kind of detail on it. Really, they're saying it's part of. I mean, it's Square Enix also. It's back when those. It's part of the Square Enix library. Squaresoft actually.
Technically, it was just Square at the time.
Yeah, Squaresoft or whatever.
So
yeah.
I don't know if it was actually considered Final Fantasy. That's why I was just kind of like, this can't be right.
I've never heard of that. But speaking of RPGs, there was the sales releases out for Dragon Age Veilguard, and I was surprised. Like, I really thought this was a massive franchise because I know that so many people just love it, but it only sold 500,000 copies initially on the release weekend, and it only sold 1.5 million overall. And this is one of the biggest releases in the past 6 months or whatever.
Which one is this again?
Dragon Age Veilguard. You wouldn't know it. It's an RPG, but we're gonna have to get you to play one of those eventually. So
I stop at Disco Elysium.
It took 12, 13 years just to get this Dragon Age sequel, and then it didn't sell well. So that kind of makes fans a little nervous. Even though I heard it was great, I'm gonna try it eventually. It'll be my first entry into Dragon Age, but yeah, it didn't sell well. So that's about all I got for news.
So well. So anyway, you know what? Go ahead. Sorry, you got anything else?
No, that's it. I was gonna tell you guys though. Yeah, I'm making things more active on Blue Sky. Twitter has pissed me off enough. I'm pretty much done with it. It's Gosh Josh Games on Blue Sky as well. I'm doing a lot of more promoting on there. We got the Dad's Game Review on there. I'm gonna be doing clips and podcasts. Don't forget we are on Apple Podcasts, which I didn't know. So make sure you check it out on there.
We are on. I say it every single post. I say where all pods are cast. That's what I say.
And I didn't know that related to Apple Podcasts. Well, now we know. I'm sitting here thinking about how we're going to put our stuff on Spotify.
Why do people keep saying that? It's
yeah,
right
I
on
guess
Spotify.
we need to get it. I don't know. We need to get it on
right
Spotify.
there.
But and I'm streaming.
Have you ever looked it up before? Because I've looked up on Spotify.
It is, but there's only a couple on there. But I just need to log in and figure out and start uploading stuff to that. But I just want to share this more. If people are actually listening, let's run with this. I mean, I'll do the promotion and stuff. But streams Wednesday through Saturday on Gosh Josh Games with a Z on Twitch. And
that's right. And you can reach us at Dad's Game Review on Twitter. As always, Blue Sky, don't even ask me because all I know is it's at dadsgamereview.bluesky.
It's the hot place to be. It's where all the cool kids are. You don't belong.
Yeah. What's the game next week? The game next week. Oh yeah. Before I go into the game next week, sorry. Before I start the drum roll, the game next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I'm glad we didn't pick the Indiana Jones game because
Staff of Kings.
I played 5 minutes of it. It's it's obviously a cash grab because they're trying to
What do you mean cash grab? Yeah, they're just an old ass PS2 game. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to capitalize on Indiana Jones without the real Indiana Jones that just came out. So they're putting the Indiana Jones that they quote unquote remastered, which is it's
not. It's just a direct. It's nothing special. It has crap reviews. And he wanted me to play it because I loved the Indiana Jones was my third favorite game of last year, and we were gonna try it, but it's just crap. Don't worry about playing the PS2
I played like 5 minutes and I just deleted it.
That's why. That's why I show him how I research games last night. I'm like, look. This looks like crap. So what are we doing?
We are going to delve into God of War Ragnarok. It was either that or Dying. It was either that or
Dying Light 2. We'll do Dying Light 2 eventually too, because I do want to do that. But here's my thing with God of War. Okay, a huge fan of the old God of Wars, right from the first one on the PS2 through every single release, all the way up until the 2018 one. I tried the 2018 one 3 different times, starting over to try and get into it and stick with it, and it just didn't work for me. So multiple people have told me just say forget it, go to God of War Ragnarok, give it a shot. So that's what we're gonna do.
John never would play the God of War series because he would always say that it was always like, I'm angry at Mephistopheles because he killed my wife or something. You
kicked a whole lot of ass in between fighting gods. Like it was the perfect game back then. And I know it had to evolve eventually. It has to evolve, but it just didn't capture me as much as the old ones did.
Now you just have a kid. You're just like,
and I like that. I wanted to know the story of 2018. Like that's the whole reason I wanted to play 2018 was to get through the story, but it just didn't work for me. So we're gonna find out with God of War Ragnarok.
Right, where you just command your son to do that.
Boy.
Do my taxes, boy.
Just get me a beer, boy.
Yeah, that's all it is. All right. Well, that's the end of that. All right. Well, thanks guys for listening in. Thanks for Spot again for listing us as number 2 in the UK. And I guess we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Sounds good?
All right. Bye.
All right, man. Bye.